Hey, bitches!
Okay, now I need you to be quiet. No More Heroes is one of my favorite games of all time. I know I've said that about every other game in the series of videos so far, but I really, really mean it with this one. Every aspect of No More Heroes embodies the poorly aged but hilarious dude bro culture of the early 2000s. Travis Touchdown is about as cool as it gets when it comes to a guy who really wants to be cool. If you ignore the fact that he lives out of a rundown motel, collects anime figurines and wrestling trading cards, rents questionable tapes from his video store, I know, it really dates the game, and basically has no job when the game starts, he has what every guy needs. A leather jacket, a cool haircut, stylish sunglasses, a motorcycle, a lightsaber / katana hybrid, and a hot babe that he constantly pesters for sex.
No turning back.
Okay, how about this? If I become #1, will you do it with me?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Come on, just once.
Yeah. But besides that, Travis gets roped into becoming an assassin and sequentially fighting up the ladder to become the #1 assassin. His goals are hollow. If he becomes the #1 assassin, Sylvia, the woman arranging these fights, will do it with him. But at the same time, he comes to terms with the mess all of this needless killing becomes and becomes disenchanted with the lifestyle. With the quick plot drop aside, let's get into the goal of this video. For this video, I intend to play No More Heroes on the bitter difficulty. What is so bitter about this difficulty, you might ask? Well, from a GameFAQs post that is old enough to vote at this point, here are the specifics. Travis deals less damage, enemies do more damage, enemies attack more frequently, you don't get as much money from enemies, there is a longer delay after blocking, making dark stepping a lot more difficult in boss fights, you get knocked off your bike easier, you get less money at the end of a ranked mission, and bosses have increased reaction time and block much sooner.
It's game time!
For context, No More Heroes is a 2007 hack-and-slash, beat-em-up, action-adventure game with a quirky playstyle. The game was initially released only for the Wii. If a low-effort Google search is correct, it was not released to any other system until at least 2010. Keeping this in mind, any game released for the Wii generally had one thing in common: motion controls. I grew up playing on the Wii, and sometimes I forget that the console came out almost 20 years ago this November. So it is safe for me to assume that not everyone who might be watching this video is familiar with the console. I'm not being pretentious or acting like a 90s kid stereotype, but in the early 2000s way. I am just appalled that it has actually been that long, and now I feel old. I digress. Almost every game designed for the console, convenient to gameplay or not, was designed with the Wii's signature motion controls in mind. In No More Heroes, which I never actually played on the Wii, the bulk of the movement and combat was done through the buttons, making it mostly playable on controller. The unique aspects are the finishers, wrestling moves and charging the beam katana. Finishers would require swinging the Wii remote in the direction prompted on screen. Similarly, the wrestling moves would use both the Wii remote and nunchuck to do the same. And the charging would require a suggestive shaking of the remote, similar to Travis's motion in-game.
It's the life of winners. That'll be my life.
This can't be done on an Xbox controller, so it is replaced with a right and left joystick mimicking the motions depending on the required input. I'm not bringing this up to complain, I actually think it's really cool how they adapted it outside of the Wii without removing any of the motion-based aspects of the game. Before we get started with the actual game, I want to elaborate on this series, as in my videos, not No More Heroes. Watching back my previous videos, I've decided that I play games on the hardest difficulty than complain about it being hard leans more towards a review as opposed to a challenge video. My writing and discussion style in both of my previous videos is much more suited as a review because I'm mostly commenting on what I do and do not like, and finishing with a verdict on the difficulty. As the series is titled, I'm complaining. So from now on, I am pivoting to reflect that. In essence, they are still challenges of the hardest difficulties, but on paper, I'm referring to them as reviews. With that out of the way, let's get into No More Heroes on bitter difficulty.
Fuckhead! Yo, help me out here. Where's this death metal dude? Bad answer.
The game starts with Travis Touchdown tracking down the number 10 ranked assassin at his mansion, Death Metal. This is the intro mission placed here to teach you how to play. It doesn't really teach you much at all, but there honestly isn't a lot to learn initially. You walk up to enemies and you kill them. At the end of the mission, you kill the boss. This format is repeated every single mission. No More Heroes is kind of a boss rush game in a way. Some of the missions mix it up with something like a new enemy archetype or minigame type interactions, but from the beginning to end, the main appeal is fighting the bosses. Death Metal is light work. He's an intro boss that's most diverse attack is spawning clones. I use this fight to relearn major mechanics, so I will just use this section to preface important aspects of gameplay. Starting with combat, there are 4 attack buttons. For my Xbox controller, X is a low sword attack, Y is a high sword attack. High and low determine speed, damage output, and direction. A is high beat attack, B is low beat attack. Beat attacks allow Travis to pummel down enemies, and if they become staggered, you can do a wrestling move on them for high damage. Left trigger allows me to lock onto enemies, right stick allows me to roll. Timing a sidestep or a dodge perfectly lets you use Dark Step, which is a flurry of attacks while the enemy is in slow motion. A unique mechanic, the slots, are rolled when you do a death blow on an enemy. The slots are rolled, and if they line up matching correctly, any of a few ridiculous abilities will trigger that basically allow you to do an instant kill in one of 5 different ways. Something you might notice is that I am in the first mission, but I have a large sum of cash, upgraded health, and an end game beam katana. Yes, this is basically New Game Plus. Bitter difficulty is only unlockable after completing the game for the first time. I did not select New Game Plus specifically. When I booted up the game, it told me to pick a difficulty and started me like this. I decided to just run it like this because A, I'm afraid if I delete any saves, I'll have to play the whole game over again on mild to unlock bitter, and B, in my eyes, this is the intended way to experience it, considering you need to play it once already to unlock it, and it puts you straight into this playthrough immediately after. Also note, the bulk of the game in between boss fights is filler content. It is fun, but it is filler to prolong gameplay time. You have to earn money to pay for each match through minigames and tasks. It's grindy and gets old after a while. It also takes away from aspects of gameplay like upgrades, weapon customization. Juggling whether to use the money to buy an upgrade or to use it to play the game more after grinding for an hour is not engaging, especially on a second playthrough. I am glad to only need the money for ranking missions because that is the aspect of the game this video is focused on. Before anyone finds an issue with it, it didn't matter. The fights that were easy the first time were easy the second time, and the fights that were hard the first time absolutely whooped me on the second time, regardless of the stuff from my previous playthrough. Back to the gameplay, I killed Death Metal and moved on.
Son of a... Extraordinary. The moment I've been waiting for. The name Holy Sword is now yours.
You're joking, right? I don't care about titles or power. I just want to be number 1.
Then master the ways of the assassin.
Here's your ticket to paradise, old man.
Yikes. It's the fastest way to stop. No, not the motorcycle.
Listen to my song.
After killing Death Metal, you are left to your motel room and get to learn more about Travis as a character. Seeing his living space and all of his interests I mentioned in the introduction. This is how every level starts. I would personally consider the overworld both an intermediary in between missions, but also an introduction to each mission. You answer a phone call, or you check your answering machine and are given a rundown. Travis needs to return some porn tapes to the video store, and Sylvia has another battle ready for you. For a price.
Alright, please transfer 150,000 LB dollars.
What? 150,000 LBs?
Your entry fee, my overhead costs. Don't tell me that you were not expecting so many zeros on that price, or that I am ripping you off or some shit. We have an elite staff in the thousands. Personally, I think it's a bargain.
At the start, your parking lot is blocked off by Sylvia's limousine. Normally, you can take your motorcycle around and do an assortment of tasks that Sylvia explains in the cutscene within her limo before kicking you out. You need money to start the fight. You can earn this through assassinations and odd jobs. The odd jobs are goofy and simple, like pumping gas, cleaning graffiti, collecting coconuts, etc. The assassinations, on the other hand, can be very challenging, usually requiring you to kill a large group or a target in a set amount of time, or completing a lengthy gauntlet of enemies without being hit once. The challenge that gave me the most struggle within these jobs is the baseball challenge, which is actually one of the first curveballs, get it? Introduced within a mission, that being the 9th ranked assassin Dr. Peace. Dr. Peace is an older man flaunting 2 revolvers found singing karaoke in the middle of a baseball stadium.
Thank you. Mighty kind of you.
Nice set of pipes you got there, old man.
You also find out that the stadium booking and his luxury dinner with his daughter the night before is all expense paid by your entry fee, which is sort of a hint for the funny twist at the end of the game. His mission is just another normal hack and slash through enemies, and after a few rooms you find the boss. The only thing unique to this is that some rooms have an opportunity to kill every enemy at once through a baseball minigame. If you hit the ball at the right time, it will travel through a line of enemies and clear the room. During this recording is the first time I have ever managed to make it go through more than one enemy. Quick interjection. About 3 days after I initially typed this section, I decided to see what the method to get gold in this minigame was. The general consensus is luck, or that it is totally impossible in this port. Besides the point, this boss fight is probably a crisp 3 out of 10 for me. Nothing really happens. The fight is simple. He shoots you. If you see an unblockable attack indicator, he quick draws, and this shot knocks you back. Oh fuck, I didn't expect that to hit me. All of this is totally avoidable by literally just strafing at walking speed around him. Though the gentleman's duel at the end does a great job again at solidifying just how cool this game is.
Playtime is over.
It's so tough. This trend does not continue into the next fight. In most cases, one would anticipate that easy bosses would be in the beginning of a game to allow the player to learn the mechanics better as the difficulty gradually increases. That is not the case in No More Heroes. My original playthrough of this game and this playthrough on Bitter were both temporarily stunted by the frustration of the number 8 ranked assassin.
What's that in your hand? A toy?
No More Heroes is at this point in time nearly a 20-year-old game. And once again, a nearly 20-year-old game designed for the Wii. Old does not inherently mean bad, poorly designed, or unrefined. Being designed for the Wii does not mean any of those things either, but sometimes it does feel like something in its development, whether a result of age, original console, or just fully intentional, is working against me to be annoying. That is first realized in what some regard as the hardest boss fight, although only the 3rd in the entire game, Shinobu.
Shall we?
Huh? You will pay with your life!
This mission takes place in a high school, somewhere Travis should not be allowed near if I had any say in it, but besides that, this mission is not necessarily anything special. The gimmick enemies had weapons that were lit on fire. If hit, you had to run to an extinguisher, which was on almost every corner of the map and marked on the minimap. So not really a big enough deal to complain about. It does have this funny sequence where the sprinklers are triggered and you have to run around looking for the breaker box while being electrocuted by your short-circuiting beam katana.
He's over here!
Moving on, the boss fight Shinobu is generally regarded as one of the most punishing and frustrating in the entire game. If I remember correctly, the first time I played this game, I probably died at least a dozen times on mild difficulty. I did not die that many times on Bitter, but I hate to admit that I believe having late game resources from New Game Plus saved my ass a lot of times in this fight. Shinobu is, in theory, a great design for an enemy in a game based around one-on-one fights between professional assassins. She is a stereotypical ninja. Incredibly agile, jumping in the air to attack or jumping over your head to land on the opposite side. Each attack is accompanied by a cool and edgy name she shouts before doing them, some of which are telegraphed like this because if they land, you will be decimated. And in cases of lower health or base game health, some of her attacks are a one-shot kill. My quarrel with her, both on mild and bitter difficulty, is in what my opinion feels like a mechanical failure in this game. Shinobu is hard to hit. Almost every attack is blocked, and the game encourages you to attack from behind to avoid getting staggered and comboed. If you go from start to finish against her doing this with just basic attacks, the fight will become boring and tedious. That is where the intended high damage opportunities come in. Wrestling moves, death blows from clashes, and dark stepping. The issue being these just do not happen, especially on bitter. Wait, I won that one now. The dark step window is 1 second shorter, which doesn't seem like much until you are only able to hit her maybe one time in the attack window before she is out of reach and attacking again. Staggering a boss for a wrestling move should not be easy, but it should be doable. If we're being totally honest, I cannot recreate a way to do it consistently against Shinobu without risking a swift loss. Other than death blows from clashes, the only type of move I could guarantee more than poke damage from was anticipating a charge attack or one of her taunts and slipping in a charge attack of my own. Otherwise, I was forced to act patiently, which is not unfair, but disengaging from normal game pace. If I pressed too hard or tried to capitalize on staggers, I was swiftly dealt with. The funniest outcome from this is a run in which I managed to survive her move that I believed at the time was a one-shot kill. Because of my new game plus health, I lived. I didn't notice this because I got annoyed and put the controller down. Then I realized I was still alive and quickly died after. No! No, no, no! No! Fuck off! Watching the footage back is interesting. Watching myself play is almost disappointing as everything is overtly telegraphed and I stumble over the same mistake multiple times. But it is totally fair to have a difficult time with this boss. It sounds corny, but the bulk of the fights happen in your head. Just how long can you be patient? In my opinion, Shinobu's boss battle is not one with skill. It is one once you are willing to accept that you basically have to poke at her for much longer than you care to, and there's almost no way to circumvent this method without max upgrades and speedrun charge attack spam techniques.
Destroyman. Come and get some.
Oh. The rank 7 boss, Destroyman, is really nothing to write home about. His character is an unsuspecting mailman found in a movie studio surrounded by half-melted corpses. Travis turns around for 1 second to allow him to change into his costume, and Destroyman fires a cheap shot, which misses, then asks for a handshake and electrocutes Travis.
All right.
That we respect each other before and after the fight. Good luck.
Likewise.
Destroy Spark.
This entire fight is meant to represent a coward-type character who is nothing more than the persona he wears on the outside. This cutscene introduces him as someone willing to fight dirty to win, and his fight has him being lifted up by cables on the movie set, further hammering down the idea that he is just a character. The battle is ridiculously easy. Every attack is heavily telegraphed, easy to dodge, and punishable. This is where I learned how to properly utilize the stun mechanic for a wrestling move attack. He would do an incredibly obvious block after each combo I landed. If I did a beat attack in that window, it would stun. This could be done consistently. I did die once during this fight, mainly because I began the battle with less than a full bar of health, and was struck with his highest damaging attack. Though in the end, his cowardly character is shown even further when he begs for help and attempts one final cheap shot before Travis slices him down the middle.
Aren't you?
Help!
What?
Help!
I can't hear you.
Help me! Please!
What is this I hear from a 7th ranked killer? Whatever. It's over anyway.
Please! Help me!
There you go.
He is a persistent fellow though. If you thought he was just way too easy in this game, wait until No More Heroes 2, and No More Heroes 3, but especially No More Heroes 2. One major notable thing that the Destroyman mission introduced is ranged enemies. No matter what I said about Shinobu in terms of annoying enemy design, I easily put any enemy with a gun above her on a least liked enemy tier list. I will save this rant for the next section because it introduces an even more annoying enemy with a gun.
Still just a fight. some oil on me, will you?
Me? You serious?
Meeting Sylvia on the beach and sensually rubbing tanning oil across her legs is the introduction to this mission. For the length of it, we are fighting across a beach that looks like D-Day is still happening 80 years later on an LA beach. Coated with World War II era hedgehogs, electrocuted barbed wire, and buried landmines, you must navigate the obstacles and kill military-type enemies that are dropping out of a helicopter. If there's one thing the military is known for, it's indiscriminately shooting people. Oh no.
Hey, he's over here!
Unlike the handgun-wielding ranged enemies of the previous ranked fight, these ones have fully automatic weapons. It is by no means impossible to block or dodge bullets in this game, but it is really annoying. Dodging is not always guaranteed, especially if you can't lock on time. Same goes for blocking. The major issue is that blocking projectiles costs battery. If you run out of battery, you can't attack or block. So when 3 enemies with fully automatic weapons are shooting at you, if you don't dodge all 3, your beam katana will rapidly drain from blocking or you taking the damage. Fortunately, Travis is able to block shots from behind him, but when more than one enemy is on screen, even if it is 5 melee and 1 ranged, odds are blocking won't matter because you're going to be attacking and as a result getting staggered out of the attack from a bullet. All of this is also happening while every few steps you're knocked on your ass by a landmine. The main attraction of this mission, Holly Summers, is not a difficult boss at all.
Do you like fighting?
Yep.
Her major gameplay mechanic is a map gimmick. Throughout the sands are slightly darker spots that are pitfall traps. If you fall in, she will toss a grenade and you have to mash a button to get out. Easy to miss in the heat of the moment, but also no more than a minor setback if you fall for it. The mechanic is revealed in the intro cutscene when Travis falls into one and somehow survives being in a hole that a handful of grenades go off in.
Let's see you get out of this predicament.
No prob. You'll see.
Uh-huh. A bud that will never blossom. A sad truth. Good night, my sweet seventh.
Oh, crap!
Besides that, Holly is very predictable, and I believe the boss's design heavily relied on these traps that honestly are no more than a minor nuisance. Her notable attacks consist of her hitting a JoJo pose as rockets fly out from behind her, leaving her open to attack if you dodge them all, and a move in which she places a landmine and sets it off with her shovel, rocket jumping to a predictable spot, leaving her open for more attacks. At the end of this, Travis, as naive as ever, once again refuses to kill a woman, and Holly chooses death before dishonor.
This is not mercy. You can't kill a woman. Pathetic. If you can't kill a woman, you are less than a thug. You will never make it to the top.
Huh?
Thank you. The moment you hesitated, I felt your embrace.
Hold up!
Academics like to fantasize too, you know.
Wait! Number 6! No!
The rank 5 mission is a fake out. You spend the beginning of the mission walking down a hallway, killing a few enemies every so often while chasing down a mysterious figure cloaked in darkness. Yes, the entire mission is a singular hallway, the end of which has the usual: a bathroom for a save point, a box for health, and a box for a battery. I think as a reward for wasting your time on that mission, and for the bullshit that follows, before entering the boss room there are a bunch of chests full of trading cards. Up next is what is implied to be a boss fight introduction cutscene. The character you see, Let's Shake, is powering up this giant robot with a brain to do what looks like an incredibly devastating attack.
Disaster blaster charging ignition.
Ignition ready.
Activating main engine.
Activating sub-engine.
Check.
Fun fact about this boss: the machine is a boss in No More Heroes 2, because in No More Heroes 1, the mysterious figure slices that robot in half before it unleashes its attack. Travis, annoyed with his kill being taken, instigates a fight with this well-dressed man who admits to being named Henry.
Travis touchdown, is it not?
son of a bitch! Fucking snatcher! I had him!
Dance with me, Travis. I
don't know who you are or what you want, Sir Henry. Where are your manners? That was my kill, you naughty boy!
He is then interrupted by Travis before he can reveal his motives, and Sylvia calls off the fight before it can begin. You get to rank up to 5 for free.
Hey! He's gone! Mr. Sir Henry motherfucker, he just jetted! What a pussy.
Sorry, save that aggression for your next match.
Who the hell was that guy?
I felt Travis's frustration immediately after this fight as well. Not because my kill had been dishonorably snatched, but because my New Game Plus trust fund had run out, reminding me of one of my biggest gripes with this game. Oh my goodness. As I explained earlier, you have to pay for every single ranked match, usually in a 6-figure lump sum. In most cases, roughly half of this is earned through winning the previous match, but the rest has to be done through the odd jobs and assassination missions I elaborated on earlier. I would like to add at this point that I hate this aspect of the game. Grinding for money is alright for maybe the first 2 missions you have to do it for, but once the numbers start raising, it becomes a nuisance. Yes, I know, I'm complaining that I have to play the game, but the fun in the game is not pumping gas and mowing lawns. It's the ranked matches. The next fight being $400,000, I had to come up with roughly $140,000 after this fight. To be fair, each mission can yield you a decent amount of money. Some, like pumping the gas, can net you 40 to 50 grand each time. Similarly, repeating specific assassination missions can also reward up to 100 grand for a gold medal completion. The problem is the needless time consumption. The overworld adds charm and depth, but is just another addition to stall playtime out of a game that could be 10 missions long back to back. You have to leave the apartment to drive to either job location, go inside, sit through a conversation at the desk, choose a job from the book or board, sit through another conversation, leave the building, drive to the location of this job, sit through another conversation, and then complete the job. If you do horribly or have to earn more money with another job, which happens more often than not, you have to do these steps again. This clip is sped up to 500%, but it's about 3 minutes when not sped up. And 3 minutes might not seem like a lot, but that's just the traveling back and forth. So if you need to do it 10 times to make the amount of money, that's a half an hour of essentially doing nothing. Another method to earn money is the free fight missions. I dislike these the most. They're a fun challenge initially. Kill all the enemies before getting hit once. High skill required, high reward given. The problem is the small aspect of TDM attached. There is no retry button. If you lose the mission, which only requires getting hit a single time, you load out of the area and have to initiate it again. Load in again, get an explanation again, activate your beam katana again, and sit through a countdown again. I couldn't see him. He's in a fucking puddle of blood.
Hey, he's over here!
I'm not giving one more. Jesus Christ. It doesn't feel good to finish that. It just kind of felt annoying. It took about 15 seconds after death to get started again. It doesn't sound bad on paper, but it almost begins to feel like a shitty Dark Souls 2 runback. Restarting the mission annoyed me more than the mission itself, and if you did not make the assumption from the previous section's rant, these are significantly worse when ranged enemies are present. Please. Oh, that guy has a gun. Yeah, I might as well just fucking leave.
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna kill you!
You're a joke!
There it is. These fucking guns, man, they make the game miserable.
Moiseiwitsch, Volodarski.
Let's see what you're made of, country boy.
I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce this name. Just listen to what the game says. I'm going to refer to him as Harvey. In my opinion, Harvey is another boss in this game that is infamous for unfortunate circumstances. As I mentioned before in previous videos, I do believe some of the most entertaining parts in a video game are when expectations are subverted and the player is forced out of routine and comfort. For example, BioShock's DNA scramble sequence. I am not a fan of when this mix-up is wholly counterintuitive to gameplay or needlessly slows down the pace. For example, the Max Payne nightmare sequences. Harvey's boss fight is the latter. Harvey is an assassin and a magician. This fight takes place on the stage of his show. The cutscene leading up to this fight is one of my favorites in the game because Travis, although being only one of 2 people in the crowd, lights up with excitement realizing he's been chosen to come up on stage.
Well, Travis, this is your lucky night.
Me? They want me? Serious? You gotta be kidding.
Go get him, Tiger.
After another cutscene with an instance of "that definitely should have killed Travis" occurs,
On to the grand finale. Now this is entertainment.
the fight begins. Harvey fights with 2 swords and, of course, stage magic. This means throughout the fight he will teleport and do one of a few things. Before half health, he will throw a handful of doves to damage you at range, initiate an unblockable thrust attack, or do an unblockable spin attack, which does a lot of damage. Ignore how many times I get hit by them because they are honestly the most predictable moves in the game. All of them start with his teleport, so a decent strategy is to just make distance every time he teleports. At about half health, he adds 2 more moves, one of which turns the screen upside down. I know it is a very simple change that might come off as a half-assed attempt to increase the difficulty, but I actually think it is a really interesting mix-up. Even though his moves are predictable, how long can you avoid them while the screen is upside down? But this is not the change of pace I dislike. It is his instant kill move. It's not like others in the game. This move will hit you. The spotlight begins following you, and from my experience, I would argue it's impossible to avoid. I believe it chases you until it hits you. During this time, Harvey is off screen, so you can't even get some damage in before it starts. You are then put into a box and have to do a button mash QuickTime event to get out, or you die, similar to the pitfalls in Holly's Beach Arena. It is incredibly easy. The problem is the small move pool. Odds are every other attack, and sometimes even back-to-back several times, you'll be launched into this simple mechanic that just takes away from the game and drags the fight on significantly longer than it has to be. And on Bitter, every fight is already longer than normal because of the damage reduction and boss health pool. I do understand this is a game meant to be more arcadey than technical. I do not expect a boss from a 2007 Wii game to have as much combat depth as an Elden Ring boss, but I do wish this fight was not so annoyingly repetitive. Yes, to be fair, every boss in this game does have like 5 moves that they rotate through, but it is so much more noticeable when the move is unavoidable and triggers 2 cutscenes and a QuickTime event.
It's dark. Somebody turn on the lights. I can't see shit. Oh, how am I supposed to perform in total darkness? Hit the lights. Hurry up. I can't see. It's dark. I'm surrounded by darkness.
Look at him.
Fuck you little prick.
Speedbuster is thematically one of my favorite bosses. Although up front, the number 3 assassin seems like a throwaway boss for a large old woman equals funny visual gag, I really do enjoy this boss. In her mission, she very forwardly throws the overall theme of the game at you before the actual twist is revealed. Keep this in mind for later in the video. Speedbuster says,
"Why are all men so freaking ignorant? They never learn, no matter how old they get. They never learn."
Are you ranked 3rd?
Ah, this time I heard you. Yeah, I am. Okay, there. It's complete. That's right. Don't you see? Idiots. All men are. Why should I even bother killing you? Even if you had 9 lives, it wouldn't be enough. Oh, I just love losers who don't care for their own lives.
This quote feels like it sums up all of the themes the game was throwing in your face. Although she says men, and probably mostly means men, in the context of this game you can also interpret that the Assassins Association is stupid, everyone killing each other and dying for honor is stupid, and Travis doing all of this for a woman who shows him no genuine affection is stupid. It's why I think of this game as a samurai movie in a sense. Yes, obviously Travis is a weeb and has a lightsaber katana, but what I mean is that a common theme in samurai movies is that killing and inevitably dying to maintain honor is still a meaningless death. Thunder Ryu explicitly told you not to interfere because it was a duel, and that mastering the katana is what Travis needed to do to become the #1 assassin. Thunder Ryu died in vain because he did not accept help. Realistically speaking, Travis could have died during the Let's Shake attack before Mr. Sir Henry motherfucker killed him, but Travis was more concerned that his kill was unearned. So this is Editor Evan right now interrupting this slightly, but I just realized that Thunder Ryu is killed by the laser before she builds the laser. This scene of him dying takes place prior to the previous scene I showed, where she's setting it up to kill Travis. Did she set it up, take it down, and then set it up again? As for the gameplay, the bus ride to her arena is hard, but not her actual boss fight. The bus ride has a really cool camera angle, but rips away three-dimensional movement. So when a group of enemies swings at you, it turns into a rhythmic offensive that you just can't break out of, like a fighting game with no wall break or burst. I'm gonna die. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I don't have battery. Like, what the fuck? Alright. The boss fight itself is pretty simple. She shoots a giant laser out of her giant shopping cart, and you have to time your movement forward in between shots. This is a gameplay mix-up I like, a map boss as opposed to a close-up one-on-one fight. You take cover in a rundown building and fight enemies for space. If you're caught in the blast, you have to mash A to avoid getting pushed back too far. If you get hit, you lose chunks of health and battery regardless. The fight concludes when you cut down a telephone pole that crushes the barrel of her cannon. Walking up to finish her, she seals the fight off by giving Travis a farewell kiss before he finishes the job and takes the #3 spot.
A little present for you. Farewell.
And good night.
3, 2, 1.
Given there are only 2 ranked missions left, after an incredibly busy weekend I was too tired to bang out what was left, but I decided I wanted to get at least some progress made. I decided to suck it up and grind for money. As I mentioned earlier, this is unfortunately the bulk of what you'll be doing in a normal playthrough of this game. The rank 2 mission costs 500,000 and rank 1 costs 550. I did not have 500,000, so I needed that to progress in the first place, and I really did not want to have to take away from the end of the game to grind 45 minutes in between fights, so I decided to do it all now. I looked up what the most efficient method to grind was, and it led me to Assassination Mission 18, Gamble Fight. It is named this because it is a gamble what enemies you will fight. You might notice now that they are the same every single time. The description just does not tell you that the first time, so it's really only a gamble the first time you do it. What stands out about this mission is that there is no cap on kills, and it is $1,500 per kill. In the 3 minutes time, I averaged around 60 kills, meaning I could rack up 90,000 roughly every 5 minutes or so. Also, this mission is very close to the K Entertainment building, which really helps. Other than paying for rank missions, the only expense I have left in this game is the final upgrade for the beam katana, which would be almost $1 million. But I don't think that I will buy it. Foreshadowing. Not only because I will have to grind more, then grind back everything I need for the rank missions, but it is an upgrade that I do not find necessary. It upgrades the battery to never have to be recharged. Yes, that would be incredible for any fight in this game, but I do think it would make everything a bit too trivial. Just button mashing with next to no risk. Also, I really do not want to grind anymore. God damn it. Why didn't it give me the last kill? Let's see. Okay, that's phenomenal.
You think you're bad, don't ya?
The second ranked assassin, Bad Girl, is a very interesting character. Personally, I would refer to her as the female version of Travis's personality. She is on the surface a dainty blonde in a pink fluffy dress, but her personality is the complete opposite. She is a hopeless, lazy person introduced drunkenly chugging beers and killing gimps with a baseball bat.
Well, bring out the gimp.
This is insane.
Before we get back to that, the introduction to this mission kind of seems like it was an afterthought in development. You go back to Destroy Stadium and drive inside with your motorcycle. The whole fight is held on the baseball field and you don't actually fight anyone. You just drive in circles hitting people with your bike. Don't get me wrong, it is hilarious, but not monumentally engaging gameplay. Does this end? Bad Girl is along the same vein as Shinobu. Many consider her to be worse, but personally I do not find that to be the case. I do believe she's annoying for several reasons, but nothing that would put her anywhere near the annoying shit Shinobu does in the early game. Bad Girl is another test of patience. She hits incredibly hard and is just not safe to approach during most attacks. Her unblockables have split-second startups, and most of them manage to punish dark stepping as a result. On top of that, she has this miserable one-shot kill attack. It isn't a parry, but I would say that it kind of works like one. She drops down and starts fake crying like a witch from Left 4 Dead, and approaching her ends with similar results. Let's see, is this gonna kill me just for fucking footage? Yeah.
Now die, bastard!
It is if you're too close. Just let me restart, like... Oh my god, it's like pulling fucking teeth. If you are nearby, not if you attack her, not if you get grabbed, if you are simply close to her, she will initiate this instant kill attack cutscene. The only option is to wait it out. She will eventually shout an expletive and get back up, allowing for the fight to continue. But this just further hammers down that she is generally an unapproachable enemy. And I think that kinda sucks. It is a minor difference from other enemies, but between Bad Girl and Harvey, I can confidently say that having to run from an enemy in a game like this takes away from the appeal. These fights are usually intended to be close-up, skill-based sword duels, but all that magic is lost when the only way to avoid an instant death is to run as far as possible and hope you don't fall victim.
Naughty girls need spankings.
Alright.
Maybe you forgot. I'm a bad girl.
Dark Star.
Welcome to my castle.
It's at this point in the game that we learn the hard truth. We've been conned, scammed, bamboozled, finessed. To put it plainly, we got. After receiving no information from Sylvia for this final fight, Travis does the smart thing and calls the number back.
Then you have been had, sir. You are not her first.
What? Run that by me again.
Listen to me. Do not get involved whatever you do.
Listen, lady, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Who are you anyway?
Another sorry kid. And for the record, I am Sylvia's mother.
Mother?
Yes, you heard me. And there's no such thing as an association, or whatever you think exists.
You're joking, right? Do you know how many people I've killed?
She is a professional con artist.
You mean a fraud?
A woman with a familiar accent answers, but it is not Sylvia. It is her mother, who apologetically explains that you are an idiot fooled by her daughter. She made up the whole association, the rankings, everything involved. But Sylvia's mother tells you, you're a stupid man. Go finish what you started. This mission has been waiting around the corner for me like a comically brutal Tom and Jerry trap. I have anticipated this hypothetical baseball bat to the face since I started this run. Not the boss, but the section leading up to it. I'm unsure if they got lazy towards the end of the game, but this is the second section in a row where the pre-boss combat section is entirely vehicle-oriented. Some asshole cosplaying as a Star Wars TIE fighter pilot steals your motorcycle.
What?
And leaves it in front of the highway, making you travel across the map on foot to start the mission. You are then tasked with riding to the fight. Along the way, people on motorcycles are trying to run you off the road, either manually or by throwing grenades behind them. If you outlast them long enough, they manage to fall off the bikes on their own, hit a box, or you can just boost to run them over. Later in the mission, a giant sourceless laser is firing from behind you. It's easy to dodge if you bait it to one side of the screen, wait for it to fire, and then move to the other side, as well as a few fallen trees that you need to jump over. What happens right before the end of the motorcycle section is what, I shit you not, caused me to fail this mission at least 7 times on my first playthrough of this game. You have to jump a lifting drawbridge, executed by a QuickTime event. This QuickTime event appears out of nowhere, with no precedent on how to do it. A left trigger prompt pops up. You have to press it gently and not hold it for too long, or you will flip off the bike and fail the mission. The only indicator on what to do is the tachometer on screen, which has never been a UI element prior to this moment. The only reason I so fortunately finished this on the first try is because I knew what was coming. There are no hints towards the exactness of this part, and the punishment for failure is so severe, I would happily call it the most punishing moment in a game I had ever played at this point. Moving on, the rest of the mission, you travel through some scary forest, and Thunder Ryu's ghost points you in the right direction. You kill some enemies and move on. Story-wise, the boss fight is a spoof of insane last-minute plot twists with no reason to expect them prior. Top-ranked assassin Darkstar.
A joke. You don't remember me, Travis. I am your true father. Blood does not make such mistakes.
Jeez, you are full of it, aren't you?
Shows up to do a classic "I'm actually your father" gimmick, and then is punched through the crotch by the actual boss of the mission, Jeane. Punched his penis off.
You're still as gullible as ever, Travis. Think, why would he be your father?
Strangely named the same as Travis's cat, Jeane is actually Travis's half-sister. Her story is tragic and fast-forwarded as a meta way of keeping down the rating of the game. She was abused in many ways by Travis's father, who also drove Jeane's mother to suicide, in which she ran away and funded her martial arts training through prostitution, then came back and killed Travis's parents in front of him. Obviously, this means that Darkstar is not Travis's actual father because Jeane has killed Travis's actual parents. Regardless of being one of the fastest, hardest to hit bosses in the game, it was not difficult at all. Predictable and manageable. Though one of the coolest visuals in the game, Darkstar's comically large dragon-shaped beam katana is used as an arena that gets tighter throughout the fight, surrounded by an empty desert with giant pillars. If it wasn't for that intro section, I would call this one of the better missions in the game. But I cannot ignore my personal hatred I found for it in my first playthrough. My goat!
Do it!
Right.
Brother, please don't kill me.
Sorry, Jeane. This hurts me too.
We're both in the same business after all. And I've had enough.
Time for you to rest, Jeane.
Good night, Travis.
I hope your next dream is a more pleasant one. It's finally over. Can't a guy get some privacy? At least when he's taking a dump?
I'm afraid not. These fights don't work like that. It's time to die, Mr. First Rank.
You gotta be shitting me.
Anything I said about patience prior to this fight doesn't even hold a candle to the secret final boss of this game. If you go out of your way to purchase the final beam katana by the end of the game, it will give you an extra option for the real ending. In this ending, you find out that the plot twist goes even deeper than you thought.
Will you hurry up with that? I'll be outside. That was close. Thanks.
Ugh, what an idiot. You're a disgrace to yourself and all those you've killed.
Henry from earlier is not only Travis's long-lost brother, but also happens to be Sylvia's husband. He explains that Sylvia, disappointed with his inadequate income, disappears for a while, and does this assassin con job to supplement her lavish lifestyle. I could be dramatic for a second and say this fight broke me for a fun clickbait title, but I wouldn't say it was that bad. Primarily because either luck or skill carried me through this. If things went a little worse, I would easily say that this boss would have made me quit the run just because of the tedium. Like most of the other bosses, Henry has high damage but predictable moves. Unblockables with quick startups, a parry that is usually impossible to fall for, and a normal combo that ends with an unblockable that can consistently be dark-stepped. I was not having a hard time with his moves. I was having a hard time with just how ridiculously long it takes to fight him. For the first few attempts, I wasn't even positive that I was doing any damage. Am I doing damage? I'm not entirely sure I'm doing damage. I have fought Henry before on mild. So what was the issue? Was there a new gimmick on bitter that I was aware of, or an upgrade that I was missing to do damage? No. I had it all. It was just that tedious. From start to finish, on my winning attempt, this fight took me almost 15 straight minutes to complete. Saying it out loud doesn't seem like a significant amount of time, but this is one attempt, not 5 attempts over 15 minutes, one single successful attempt. Imagine failing an attempt at the end and having to commit that time again and again and again if you slip up. Meaning in an hour of gameplay, you might get lucky to get 4 good attempts in. Even if his attacks are manageable, having 15 minutes of constant damage worth of health leaves 15 minutes of opportunity to make a costly mistake. Because of this time constraint, I went back on my word, and I decided I would buy the final upgrade for the beam katana, eliminating the need to recharge. I still mean what I said. Not having to recharge does take away a lot of the challenge, and I did attempt to complete this fight without it, but if I had to take a break to recharge after every flurry of blocks and attacks, I can confidently say the fight would have taken 30 minutes straight to win. My punishment for going back on my word was another 45-minute grind, so I made my penance for my decision. Also, I didn't mention earlier, but he has a one-shot kill. You do not survive this because of max health upgrades like with Shinobu. It is a confirmed kill if it hits you. It is manageable and very predictable, but in my winning attempt, I had an incredibly close near miss, and the hit I landed after dodging it was the final hit of the fight. Literally the killing blow. Oh my god. Dude, he was literally one shot, and I almost got hit by the... I shit you not, I barely dodged it, and then I pressed Y and the fight ended. Holy shit, that was 23 minutes.
Like you're my friend or something.
Dude, I would have thrown my controller into fucking atmosphere.
You can't be serious.
It would be safe to say that if I had died from the attack, I probably would have dropped the game for a while. Or this section would have ended with me giving up against Henry, which I didn't. Overall, I have to say this fight is abysmal, because the time you have to sink into it. Yes, it is optional, and you do not need it to start a new game, but why wouldn't I want to include it? It's part of the game. If this fight went on for maybe half the time, it would still be too long. There just isn't enough attack diversity to justify a 15-minute ordeal, especially with a one-hit kill. Most of the fight was spent dodging the same basic combo, dark stepping and landing the same few attacks, waiting and doing it again. If it was a 3 to 5 minute fight with a little bit more energy in it, I would gladly call it worth the in-game cost to unlock it. But in this situation, it was just a high-stress pain in the ass.
To me, I'm gonna need shock treatment to get over this one.
I'm sorry for all the trouble my wife has caused you. Forgive her.
She caused me some trouble, all right, but it helped me clear up a lot of things.
Ah, you know how women are. Especially my wife. A really big spender. Yeah, she knew my income wasn't enough, so every now and then she'd just disappear.
She's a bad wife, but a good woman.
What? Are you telling me that you and her...
Oh, come on.
But Travis, my brother, we're similar in many ways.
You're right. Suddenly you being my brother doesn't sound so awkward.
Let me ask you, how do you plan to put an end to all of this?
Wait a sec. You want me to tie up all these loose ends? I don't think so.
You're the protagonist. I'm just a cool, handsome foil who happens to be your twin brother. Hate to say it, but it's your job.
I want to bail, but where the hell's the exit?
Oh.
There's no way out, is there? No getting out, right, bro?
That's right. All we can do is keep running.
Then let's find that exit they call paradise. Let's go!
Coming up with a verdict on No More Heroes Bitter difficulty has been a challenge in itself, because I really don't know how I feel after finishing it. I can't really define why it wouldn't be worth a try, but also it really isn't worth the hassle. On one hand, it was very annoying for many reasons, but a bulk of them were partially mended by the New Game Plus benefits in the early game. You have to beat No More Heroes at least once to unlock Bitter anyway, and it doesn't have enough of a difference to bother going back unless you really want to unlock achievements. On the other hand, the difficulty spike was not high enough to call it a meme difficulty or intentionally hard for the sake of enraging the player, except of course for Henry's fight. Personally, I would say I'm indifferent to this difficulty, but it is not a please go back and try it situation like I felt for Max Payne New York Minute. I love No More Heroes a lot, but playing it on the hardest difficulty is just not notable or unique enough to seek out. If you want the challenge, it is pretty accessible for a hardest difficulty if you're willing to commit the time. Thank you once again, everyone. I had a great time making this video, I actually mean it. I would say this was significantly less irritating and stressful than my previous video, which I am very fortunate of how it performed. It's no multi-million view video, but it did break 1,000 views and managed to gain me like 30-something subscribers, which is a lot for me, so I really appreciate that. So just like the last video, if you made it this far and you enjoyed this one, I would appreciate a comment, a like, a subscribe, a share, anything you want to do. But overall, I just appreciate the view, and I appreciate that you were willing to sit through my antics for this length. So, if you fuck with me, expect another video soon. Thank you. And have a good one.